This is Radio Horror here at WCUW in Worcester, Massachusetts, 91.3 FM. And tonight, in a recorded interview, but still live in the studio, but not playing instruments, we have a local Worcester band with us, which I've been excited to have on for quite some time. Sapling. Ta-da! Yay! Why don't each one of you mention your name and what you do in the band?
Hi, I'm Rainey. I mostly play bass and sing in Sapling, although I also play a number of other little things like woodwinds and percussion and whatever we get into that day.
My name is John, and I play the drums.
That's good.
I'm Amber, and I share vocal duty with Rainey sometimes. I play guitar and theremin and the clown box.
It's New England's foremost B-pop, I can't say the word, unfortunately, and art rock band. What is B-pop?
Let's see. To speak of B-pop without saying what B-pop is.
B-I-T-C-H, just can't say it.
B-pop is kind of like when we don't believe in mowing our lawns, so we let the weeds really get as high as they want because we want to bring all the pollinators in.
Yeah, the bees.
The bees.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you can also harvest some of the additional weeds and make salads out of them, but you really have to know what you're picking.
Depression-era salads.
Depression. So that means no salad dressing, just dry cabbage?
Dry dandelions and dog violets and things like that.
That sounds terrible.
It's delicious.
And bee poop.
Oh.
It's very good for you.
You guys were voted Best Punk Band in 2020?
We were not. We were nominated. Yes.
I thought, what did I say? Nominated? Voted?
I think you said voted.
Voted, but you didn't win.
No.
Right.
Okay.
No, we were nominated.
Voted, nominated, I'd say the same thing.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, sure. In that case, yes, we were voted.
You
best
were voted
punk in
best, but you
1920.
did not win it. Okay.
We were nominated for Best Punk in Boston and Worcester Music Awards 2020. So we actually really enjoy the band, the Viagra Boys, and so we can say that we are punk rock losers. And then we were also nominated this year for some reason for Best Electronica in the Worcester Music Awards. Your guess is as good as ours. If anyone from the Pulse magazine is listening, feel free to let us know what went on there.
Probably because of the theremin, I'm guessing, but we're not electronica.
I think the theremin
We're
is
all
giving
the
too much
pedals.
credit. Yeah.
There
Or
must
electric.
Be, maybe someone was just like written something in that was like.
I wish I knew.
But you got that nomination under your belt.
We
You could
couldn't
put that
decide
in
if we wanted to win or not. I'm like, is it worse or better if we win this thing that we're not?
We felt like an electronica band should probably win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad that the band that won was an electronic band.
How did the band come together?
Would you like to tell the story?
Should I tell the full story? How much of the story should I tell?
tell whatever story you're
As long as it doesn't collapse and smack you in the face, you can totally move that around however you want.
So Rainey and
be
I became
careful.
friends in a very interesting way.
I don't know if we should tell the
We'll skip. I was going to
No,
skip that
you can
part.
give details. You're just going to use like the D word or the C word or the A word.
Oh,
and
no,
say
it's
that.
more a lot, too many pseudonyms involved.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. I can't come up with fake names right now. So Rainey and I met and we became friends. I don't know when, maybe like how long ago?
2014 or 15.
Yeah, I've worked in a lot of bars around the city, and we kind of initially met that way. And I remember the first time I saw Rainey, she was just like this bad AB in a sports bra with hairy armpits and pink duct tape drums, just wailing. And I was like, I want to know who she is, and I really want to be friends with her. We eventually became friends, and we tried to like do a duo sort of thing. It was horrible. And then we got the drummer from Rainey's last band, Rotating Strawberry Madonna, and had him join us, and that lasted until 2018 when we played. Yeah, we played Ska TV, and John was just filling in for one night, and then Rainey and I were both like, we should keep him.
It's a 3-hour tour.
So John's primarily a guitarist, but he kind of like really developed on drums for this band.
Mm-hmm. Rainey is my guru, my drum guru.
I'm a drum guru. Did you hear that, everyone?
You're a drum guru. The other funny thing, okay, before I get to this other funny thing that I was reading in the press release, so then how did you come in?
Rainey and I were in another band called Service where she was on drums and I was on guitar.
I'm the guru.
Because she's the guru. And Yeah, and that's how we knew each other, and they were looking for a drummer, and so I was there.
Yeah, we had ended up just kind of parting ways very amicably with our old drummer. We still love him. Hi, Dave. But we just kind of, it felt like it was the end of his tenure playing with us, and then. Yeah, I was just like, hey, John, you want to fill in for this one show for 3 songs? And he was just a really great personality fit. And we're like, we'll teach you the drums. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
I was dabbling at that point.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. No, he had played in Scream Castle.
Yes.
And Scream Castle, he was actually a great player playing drums in Scream Castle. But Scream Castle let you really just like play constantly. And Sapling is more like, you're going to play a pop beat for 5 minutes. And if you mess it up, I'm going to glare at you.
Yeah.
So...
I think, John, the first time that I met John was at a show we played with Service. And I put him in the pickle costume, which, public shout out. I don't know what happened to this pickle costume. I used to take it out of the clown box and put it on people at shows, and it disappeared one day. So if you're out there and you have the pickle costume, I would like it back.
Or else. It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your pickle costume is?
Nope.
The music video I have been watching, this I Sing the Body Electric, is something that I would expect to see at like Man Ray in Cambridge. Like this
Well, they're
whole
open
video.
again now.
They are open. Yes, they opened January. I've been there a few times. I know the owner. I knew her like prior to this or whatever. So we went to this Dracula ballet.
Nice.
Yes, but it's the weirdest ballet. First of all, I have no damn interest in ever seeing a freaking ballet in my entire life. None whatsoever. But I took this opportunity to go see this ballet because I heard it was a Dracula ballet, but not just Dracula. Dracula crossed with the story of Dionysus.
Okay.
Yes. And no, I'm sorry, it wasn't ballet. Opera. Oh, I'm sorry.
right,
I
okay.
am so sorry.
Still good.
I'm not an opera fan. I'm not a musical fan. I hate musicals to death. I just cannot stand musicals. I'm going to go see Beetlejuice the musical. Maybe because it's Beetlejuice, but otherwise it's just like insufferably. I would never wanted to see Grease my entire life. Then my son did Grease, and I was forced to watch it.
Grease sucks.
Grease does suck. And then this year he did Mamma, and I said I'm never going to see Mamma Mia. Wait, Pierce Brosnan's in that. God, I like James Bond, but no, I'm never going to watch this. Then he's in Mamma Mia, and I'm like, damn it! And I had to see Mamma Mia.
So I was very anti Mamma Mia until I had a partner who was in the musical, and so now I've seen it 5 times. And by the end, I was like, Waterloo, dun-dun-dun-dun. Like I just lives in my head rent free.
It's a crazy musical. I was like aghast by the costumes that high school kids were wearing. I was just like, wow, this just seems, I don't know. Yeah, but whatever. They're seniors. It's
when
fine.
You're on a Greek island, I mean, what are you supposed to do?
So while we were in the black car on the way home, she told me that she's opening up. She has become one of the owners of Man Ray and reopening it. I was like, what? What is this happening? And I found out like late January. She's like at like 5 weeks or whatever. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I've heard it's really cool. I have friends who've been there quite a bit. I guess since it reopened, and it seems like it's
just a club.
Yeah,
it's not. I don't feel like it has the same feel as it did before.
Yeah.
It's nice. When the lights are on, it doesn't look like anything whatsoever. You're like really like, this is the Man Ray Club? No, you gotta turn the lights off and have the music playing.
Yeah.
You gotta give it some time to like get the feel of the old club again because it's brand spanking new. Like everything is polished and clean and nice. And somebody made a complaint saying the bathrooms don't feel like the way they used to. And the owner was just like, good God, no, I want the bathroom. If anything, I want the bathrooms to always maintain pristine, happy, and clean quality because those old bathrooms disgusting. Bathrooms should not be disgusting. And they're also unisex bathrooms too. So it was the first time I walked in the bathroom and there was like 4 or 5 girls. I was like, oh no, I'm not ready. I am not ready for this. There's a urinal. They're all standing right next to the urinals. And I'm like, no, I'm not whipping my penis out and taking a piss or whatever in front of 4 women.
You can say penis on the radio now. We know.
Okay.
So
I don't think that's vulgar. So
can you say vagina?
I don't think that's vulgar either.
That's what we were saying.
Yeah. An F-bomb. No, I think we gotta curb our enthusiasm.
Don't worry, we won't say Jenny.
I say crap. I say butthole. So,
butthole.
Yeah, you can say butthole.
Butthole.
Because I play the Butthole Surfers all the time.
Butthole.
Yeah, they're a punk band.
That's the proper name.
That's some deep cuts for you punk listeners out there. Butthole Surfers.
The way people have described Man Ray to me so far sounds like the way my friend was trying to describe Berlin, Germany to me, which she thought it was the greatest place on earth, and I was very excited that she was excited, but everything she told me about it made me not want to go there. She's like, yeah.
The new Man Ray or the old Man Ray?
The new one.
Okay.
Well, so no, I'm not saying I would never want to go to Man Ray. Like, I'm sure I would if there was a great reason. But like, so I'm not really like a club person. And
True.
this other friend who was telling me about Berlin, she's like, yeah, like you go and the party doesn't even start till like 11 p.m. And I'm like, that sounds terrible. I'm asleep by then. And she was like, yeah, and there's all these meat trucks outside. And I'm like, I'm vegan. And she's like, and there's so many drugs. And I'm like, I don't do drugs. I'm really happy for you though. But like, I don't really want to go to any of these
That's
places.
what she. Wait. That's how she described the new Man Ray.
Berlin, Germany.
Yes. Okay.
Berlin, Germany. Get with the program, Chris. So the way everyone's told me about Band Ray, they're like, yeah, it's really loud. And I'm like, that sounds terrible. There's lots of flashing lights. Wow, I hate it. And they play a lot of this kind of music. And that's great for you. I'm really happy for you. But I'm probably not going to go there right now. Like, I'm so happy you're happy.
I have friends that go there. I keep meeting, which is really nice. So it's people I never get to see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, I know the
sounds
owner.
like
And also, they're going to hang in the artwork from my graphic novel there.
Nice.
So I really need to continue going. So the graphic novel, we gender swapped the cast of Dracula, and the artwork kind of fits the mystique of the club. So I feel like I need to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like
it
every time
sounds
I
like a
go
great place.
alone, I feel like, I'm never going to talk to anybody. I'm going to be the wallflower and just feel nervous because I don't have someone going with me. And once in a while, I have a friend or a date that will come with me. But then I end up finding like someone to talk to, and it's usually just me like whipping out my business card and being like, "Oh, I did the show.
Glad
I did
you
this
didn't say
graphic novel."
penis.
No. I do this show. I do this graphic novel, and then that gets someone excited into engaging conversation or whatever. I met somebody there who's an English lit professor, and she dressed like she is a Playboy bunny on goth steroids.
Does she want to be in our band? Is she a Scorpio?
I don't know. I'll find pictures of her and show her to you.
That won't necessarily tell me if she's a Scorpio.
I was just like when I thought she was a model, she's like, no, I'm an English lit professor at Harvard. I was like, wow, do I judge people wrongly?
That's harvard.edu. Everyone.
But anyway, so watching your music video, I was just like, God, this looks like something that would play there. Now, you're going to play at the Starlight, though, which is fantastic. And I know the Starlight because Skip Shea is heavily involved with there. He's a filmmaker here in Worcester, if you're familiar with who he is. He runs the Mass Indie Film Festival, which just happened.
Oh, cool.
And he runs the Shauna Shea Film Festival. And he's been at the Starlight with like Tony Brown, who's a pretty well-known poet in the area.
Tony.
So they do stuff there, as well as like classic old cult movies or weird films. Sometimes the films are not all great, and sometimes they're like, oh, this is an amazing film.
Yeah, Starlight's one of our favorite spots. Amber is also going to be doing some. So our release show, our release show is coming up May 7th. It's a Sunday at Starlight. It's a Sunday matinee. Doors at 2, music at 3. We're playing with our friends Crowfollow and Mini Beast, and Amber's going to have some artwork up as well throughout the month of.
That's the friend I met.
Okay. So yeah, she's going to have some art up throughout May as well at Starlight, which is really cool. Dimitri, the owner of Starlight, I've known him for, God, actually at this point, 15 years, but we're getting there within a couple of years. And yeah, he's a great dude. So we're really excited to be there.
What's your art about?
What is your art about?
You're going to put your artwork up in a gallery everyone has to see it, and you're going to do an opening night. You have to talk about it on the radio. I know it's on the spot and embarrassing, but
No, it's fine. So I'm kind of a chaotic artist. I don't stick to one medium. I don't stick to one style. I do a little bit of everything.
Is there a Facebook page for it?
Yeah, it's my Instagram is Toilet Fire Art.
And you can go to toiletfireart.com.
You can go to toiletfireart.com. My website is absolute trashy mess, so, enter at your own will. There's actually a really interesting part of the website about gnomes, if you have some free time.
But we can't talk about it.
We can't talk about it on the radio, though. It's
You
inappropriate.
can use euphemisms.
That sounds like way too much work right now.
Toilet trash?
Toilet fire art. So the Urban Dictionary defines toilet fire as something that you expect to be really, really good and cool, but it's like really disappointing.
Not to be confused with the toilet fire that's in The Sims 4.
No.
Okay.
No. So Art is my name. That's my actual initials. And Toilet Fire is my self-titled middle name.
Oh.
And that's how I got Toilet Fire Art. So I'm probably going to put a lot of, like, sculpture, found objects. I won't be putting up a ton of, like, my very expensive paintings. Like...
Why would that be, Amber?
Because it's a bar and it's a venue, and I'm trying to have some in exhibits. Yes, that's me. I'm on the toilet. So there's a page with...
There's a lot of streaky makeup, and the hair's not the same color, so I had to ask.
Yeah, I'm a little bit tamer today.
I was very close to showing up in pajama pants for this, so I did put
You
pants
could,
on.
yeah. You guys are not going to be on camera.
You
If you were
can't
worried,
see me. My eyes are closed.
if you were worried you're going to be on camera, I should have said,
Oh, no.
yeah.
We're not on smell-o-vision either, because we all have onion breath. Or I do. Do you have onion breath? No,
My
you
nose
don't.
is clogged up, so it's totally good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going to have a lot of art up if you want to see it. Buy art or don't, you know.
Oh, I
a
know
lot
who
of
you
different
are.
stuff.
I recognize this, the Worcester magazine. I still have this.
Yeah, I had an article last year in WOMAG for the exhibit, the installation that I did at Arts Worcester for their
Holy cocktail
shoebox
beans, yes.
exhibit.
I'm not effing kidding. I kept that article because, Jesus Christ.
Buttholes.
Yeah, holy buttholes. Excuse me. Because I saw the part about the mental illness and whatever, and I was in the middle of, and it's finally coming together and happening. This art, my own art project about mental illness and stuff. It's going to be a comic book about something that did happen to me when I was a teenager. And probably my first exposure to what mental illness really is. When I was 15 or 16 years old in the summer, we were forced to do, book assignments for a private school to, go to the next grade with, oh, here's your first A kind of thing. And I met this girl at the library several times, and we were always like working on the same projects. And I finally got up the courage to like ask her out, and she was like, "You don't want to go out with me?" I was like, "Oh, why?" And she's like, because I try to hurt myself a lot, and it's just not a good idea for anyone to want to date me. And I had no idea what that meant at 15 or 16 years old. 40-something, yes, now I do. And I've heavily researched as much as I can about it. I'm not a freaking expert, but I've done enough research to write out a comic book. And I took that story and turned it into a comic book. And we went to the movies one time. But she, make a big point, nobody should date me because I try to constantly hurt myself and I'm trying to kill myself.
That's the worst. It's interesting. That's an interesting level of self-awareness and self-description in high school, and also really sad to already have developed that idea of people should just avoid me.
Yeah, that's how I was for a very long time too. I get it. But.
I feel like I definitely had friends that were already maybe around sophomore, junior year, were just I'm writing people off because I'm difficult, and it's
I still do that.
I
somewhat.
do that constantly,
but
I don't know how. I could do this freaking show because you cannot see me. But I didn't want to go to a convention this past weekend with somebody, not just because I think the price of the freaking convention is way over goddamn much, but because of just after 3 weeks of having a cold and being at a convention and having zero time to collect myself or whatever, I kind of turned down a date or whatever to not go to the con to escape from that and not have her around me and stuff like that. And it's just been one weekend after the other of why don't I come down this? We come up from New Jersey this weekend. And I'm just okay, that might be better and things might be better. But yeah, so that was my relatable story.
therapy time.
Yes.
Sapling.
Oh, this is why I do 4 podcasts and a radio show. I call it therapy because I'm oh, well, I've tried to kill myself and I have depression. So I do therapy through radio and podcasting so I can talk about it. So when it happens in an episode of whatever it is we're talking about or a comic book that we're covering, I can expose my dark secrets and past through it. So.
And you get to come in here and say butthole all you want.
I can say butthole as much as I want. Before we go back to the music real quick, I just want to delve a little bit more into your artwork, Amber.
Sure.
What is... I do love... So I don't know anything about art other than to be this is Superman, and I love this artist who's doing Superman right now because it's awesome, and I can pinpoint, everything I love about the way this artwork is drawn and how freaking scary he can make a monster version of Superman look. And sure. But when I look at other people's artwork, I'm just kind of well, that's Charlie Chaplin, but I don't get what everything else is with the figure of the woman. What's that supposed to be?
I can't see what you're looking at right now, so There's lots of figures of women there. They're actually all women except Charlie Chaplin. That's based off of a Ferlinghetti poem. That's based off of some old mythology. They all have their own themes. So like my art, I always want it to tell a story no matter what like style or medium it is. It always has some story behind it because I'm essentially a storyteller, whether I'm a musician or I'm painting or whatever I'm doing.
What's this story?
Oh, that's my one of my self-portraits. That's the latest one that I did with mixed media and oil paint. I made 2 different paintings that are very similar to one another. One is when I was experiencing like different highs and lows from mania. When you experience mixed mania, your eyes kind of go black, and you have your pupils dilate, and you just have very like kind of scary, sort of absorbing eyes. And I've gotten a lot of criticism on that painting because they're like, well, the eyes are too dark and the eyes are supposed to... I'm like, well, that's not the point. The point is that the eyes are supposed to, reflect that manic state. I did another one that actually helped inspire a song on our upcoming album, which was a manic low, and I did that painting. That's watercolor realism just in one single color, so it's monochromatic.
And then you have one you're cutting off.
Yeah, that's the manic, that's the low. But that's the monochromatic, realistic watercolor portrait. And Rainey has some trauma around the Van Gogh thing, and Van Gogh will not die just sort of developed out of that.
Which we just basically started practicing today for our release show.
Yep.
Which is coming up very soon.
Yeah, they're all fantastic. I'm not, any kind of like art critic to say anything else besides just like they're fantastic. A tribute to victims of gun violence as well. The blood splattery ones and the one in the bottle, Pure Spirits.
Oh yeah, It's hard for me to remember. I'm so bad at cataloging, but yeah.
That one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, B brand. Mm-hmm. It's like B-top.
Yeah, it says Somos Abejas around it. Actually, that's a little sapling Easter egg in that painting.
And when's that gallery going to be up at Starlight?
For our release show and throughout the rest of the month of May. So you can see it anytime in May. I may, I'll put up whatever I have. I don't really have too much of a plan for that yet, but I did get kind of fun and interactive, and we'll see where it goes.
Maybe I should hire you to do the alternate cover for the comic book.
I don't take commissions. I'm so bad at that. I cannot do commissioned artwork. Suggestions. I'll be like, yeah, that sounds great. I'll do that. Just kind of freedom and the joy out of artwork for me, which is what it's about. Like, if I wanted to make money, I'd paint a bunch of people's pets, and I'd make lots of money doing that, but I don't want to.
Can you paint, like, on the pet?
I could paint the pet, yeah. Paint your pet day.
Yeah, people do that and wash it out.
At me?
Yeah, you look like you wanted to say something.
Oh, I know. You don't want to paint a pet.
No, you people paint pets as long as it's not like gonna stain them.
Does a pet want to be painted?
Yeah, that's the question.
I would not paint my cats, but you
don't
can
paint your pets.
No, don't paint your pets. Listen, we really have gone a long way already tonight, talking about the bees and therapy, and now we're talking about not painting your pet.
Let's go into the music. I Sing the Body Electric is one of the songs I was listening to, based on the song poem by Walt Whitman.
And inspired partially by the Twilight Zone episode as well. I Sing the Body Electric.
Which episode was that?
I Sing the Body Electric.
What was that episode about? I don't have them all.
Oh, it's about this father with 3 children who, they lose their mother, and they're looking for a caregiver, and none of the caregivers can handle the kids. So they go to this sort of factory, and they build a grandma. They pick all of the favorite, or the nanny or the grandma. They pick all the favorite, like, features, the hair, the eyes, the voice. And for the voice samples, they have the poem by Walt Whitman, I Sing the Body Electric. And when they grow up, I don't want to spoil it, but it's how many years ago was this done? Yeah.
60, 70 years ago?
At the end of the episode, when the kids are all grown up, she's like, well, I'm going to go to the factory and get disassembled. And they're like, oh, no, you're going to die. And she's like, no, I'll live on in the room of voices and I'll share the wisdom with other voices in the room until I get reborn again. So it was like a sort of, it was very much like the Whitman poem, where you're trying to separate the experience from the body and the soul, but also combine them in some interesting new agey way.
Let's play a little bit of a clip from the I Sing the Body Electric. Where are the cartoons from?
Oh, those are old Honey and Bosco cartoons.
Oh, okay.
I am a big old school cartoon fan, and that was just one of the old black and white cartoons that used to be on. And there are a lot of interesting racial undertones in some of the older cartoons.
No.
And that was an interesting one. So I made this music video in a day when I had COVID, which was really severe at
I had
the
it
time.
last year. I thought I had it again now recently, like a week ago, and no, I tested twice, negative. I was like, and they're like, and the doctor was just like, sometimes it's just a cold.
Yeah.
And when was the last time you had a cold?
Yeah.
December of 2019? Yeah, that's why it feels like it's COVID. No, you just have a cold. You haven't had a cold in 3 years.
I got COVID at like peak isolation before any of the vaccines were out. I think it was a couple months until the vaccines came out. Yeah, it was January, the very beginning of January. So I threw together this mashup video for the B-side of our 7-inch.
What old school cartoons do you love?
I mean, pick one.
Are we talking about like 1940s and 50s cartoons?
Yeah,
or?
sure.
Okay.
They have right now on streaming services, which thank you everybody who donates your streaming services to me so I don't have to buy them. They have the 225 classic cartoons, so they're all old black and whites. There's a lot of Betty Boop and
you can
stuff.
find them on Prime.
They have those running, so those are, if you want to get into older cartoons, check some of those out, like the old Popeyes and stuff. I really liked Popeye when I was a kid.
They just released for the first time in like high definition in its own actual like release from Warner Brothers, the Fleischer Superman cartoons. Which was the inspiration to create the Batman the Animated Series. Because Fleischer drew a lot of his cartoons on black paper, which was completely unheard of ever. And then years later, Bruce Timm and his crew was like, we're going to do that again with Batman, though, and make it a lot more sense. And those old Fleischer Superman cartoons are, they are incredibly animated, and sometimes the imagery is just ghastly and terrifying. And yes, they did go into territories of like, this is how tribal people are, and Superman fights them, But they had one of the first animated depictions of Adolf Hitler. Like, he stands up over his desk, and the friggin' swastika flag is right there, and he's like...
Oh, boy.
Yeah, like right at the beginning of the Superman cartoon.
Yeah. I don't know as much about, like, the comic book side of cartoons and stuff like that. That was just never a thing that I was big into.
I just know that Popeye, a couple years ago, turned 80 years old, and nobody blinked an eye.
Yeah.
And I was just like... Ouch.
Popeye is old.
Yeah.
Everyone just do a moment of blinking for Popeye right now out there.
Or go to your local Popeye's restaurant and say, bring back Popeye as your mascot because it'll make Popeye relevant again.
Make Popeye relevant again. That's the next red hat.
Yeah. Tell Popeye's restaurant to, every time you see those Popeye commercials, I remember the ones from the 80s where they would end with Popeye being, The song that you're currently now Snake Charmer, talk about that and its evolution.
Well, I am, like I said, I am very into old folk songs, folk music, things that get passed around a lot. I like the idea of things evolving over time. I like stories, storyteller. Literary anthropology is like my hobby. So this song, you've probably heard it as a kid, and you've heard different versions that exist all over the world. It was made popular in America at the World Trade Fair, maybe in the very early 1900s, from a song created in the late 1800s called The Poor Old Country Maid, which is based off the Arabian riff. No one actually knows where it comes from, but
Nobody knows where that comes from?
no, it's a folk song that's been passed around forever.
Really?
And
Oh my God,
it's
sort of heavily used.
It became associated in a very interesting way with exoticism, and belly dancing started to become, rock shakri started to become very popular in the United States, and it was just a really cool way for me to explore some sort of Americanized roots, I guess.
So this is, the song we're releasing today, Snake Charmer, which Amber just talked about, is the third single off of Amor Fati, our record that we're releasing on May 7th. And we really got excited about this one, too, because we have Dana Colley from Morphine and Vapors of Morphine playing bass clarinet, also known as Uber Skank Tank, on this recording. And it's just, it's just absolutely filthy. We love it.
But just got to point out real quick, your hat, the Stone Church, like the one in West Boylston?
No. The Stone Church. Yeah, it's a venue in Brattleboro, Vermont.
Oh,
that we
okay.
love. And there's actually, so the Stone Church Music Club, I'm doing air quotes. Stone Church Music Club is in New Hampshire. I think it's like Newmarket, something, New Hampshire. And then the Stone Church is on Main Street in Brattleboro. And that's the one that we've played a couple of times. And it's one of our absolute favorite places. It's a great venue.
In the last 30 minutes, you railed off like names of a couple other bands, and it reminds me of a contest, That's Entertainment, which is a comic book store in Worcester, is running to give away a free Joan Jett vinyl that I donated to them. And they said, name what your band name is, and all the different bands. Did you see all the different band names people listed off?
Were they fake band names or real band names?
These were fake. This is what my band would be if I created a band. It was the funniest thing.
I missed that. I do follow that. So yeah, I was just there last week selling some old graphic novels. I sold 1 through 10 of Transmetropolitan and a few other loose.
Did you get rid of Transmetropolitan because Warren Ellis is Warren Ellis, or because it was time to let him go?
Yes, I did. So listen. We do not have time as a band to do a whole like art from artist thing right now, because I do certainly. I mean, listen, I'm a Bukowski fan. Like art, you have to art from artist at a certain point in your life. What happened was, and Transmet was absolutely one of my favorite graphic novels, and still is. Like at the end of the day, comics.
And a lot of people say the same thing about The Authority because of the big gay superhero thing.
Yeah, right. Like I went to Spider Jerusalem for Halloween like a million years ago. I still love Transmet, but I think what happened was...
Shave your head and everything?
No, I did not. Wow. I did not. No,
I just fell in love.
Amber says I can't shave my head because my head is too large and bumpy. But I didn't even know her when I went.
You look like an alien. What do you want from
me?
Alien
Nation alien, or like alien that spits the acid aliens?
But like
acid aliens.
Oh, okay. Because the Alien Nation aliens are kind of hot.
No, honestly, I think it just became one of those things that when I heard, I didn't really know about Ellis until maybe this was like a year ago or something, and I was just so angry. So if anybody out there, if you have our record No Sequoia, we have a song on there called Nice Man, and that song is dedicated to every single guy that you're just kind of like, hey, this guy is perfectly fine, and then you find out that he's a complete creep, or, just really, really off-putting in some way. And it's so disappointing because I think that especially women, but a lot of folks have had that happen so many times where you're just like, yes, everything's fine now. Oh, wait, this guy's a creep now. Fantastic. When I heard about Ellis, I just got really mad because I'm like, not this guy too. And I got so mad, I literally picked up all 10 issues and I just went into my kitchen and tossed them on the floor and went back into my room. I was just off my shelf. Because you know what it was? I was like, there are so many people that could be taking up this shelf space right now. And even though I still love this story, I still love the artwork, it's time to put something else on my shelf to take up space. And that's just kind of how I was feeling at that point, where it doesn't make me not love the piece of art anymore, but I only have so many shelves. I
think a lot of people felt that same way who don't know who Warren Ellis is, because he's well known in the comic book industry, but let's face it, nobody really knew who he was until Castlevania came around. They're like, who's Warren Ellis? He's like, oh, he wrote these books. He's great. Oh, they need a new showrunner. But the comparison is like when Joss Whedon's all his crap came out,
Right.
and people were just like, I can't watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer anymore. It's my favorite show of all time.
Yeah.
And so Michelle Gellar had to get in front of him and be like, no, you don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff like that, and I think occasionally for me, I tend to get the most indignant about that stuff when it's an artist that really did mean a lot to me. So I'm actually a little more willing to kind of like, now we're getting into it, but the whole art and artist thing.
We can get off it.
Yeah, no. Well, I was just going to say, like, basically, I'm more willing to just kind of be like, all right, well, I'll still enjoy this, but not worry about it so much for the time being when it's something I'm kind of passively enjoying or it's not somebody that really meant that much to me. But when it is something that really meant a lot to me, that's when I'm like, you know what? What the fettuccine? Like,
Yeah.
A lot of artists are problematic. Like, Whitman had his problems, too. He was kind of controversial in some ways, but it didn't stop some of his work from being valid and from me writing the song.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, and people have said the same thing about Alfred Hitchcock and
Oh, yeah.
You can't,
2001 Space Odyssey, that director, that guy.
I mean, Kubrick?
Kubrick, yeah. Kubrick. Difficult to work with, and so on and so forth. Some of the bands they listed, Required Listening, Wunderbread, the Wormtown Warblers, various artists. The Darthsis, JJ and the Jet Planes, Popping Balloons, Generic Susie, Ace Diamonds, Mile Maker Zero, Gabriel's Wrath, Suri and the Excuse Me, When Life Gives You Lemons, Make Grape Juice,
Yes.
5G's Call to Prayer, Turtle Boys in the Hood,
Ugh.
Premium Savage, Chad Did It, which is an employee at That's Entertainment,
Oh, yeah, Chad. What's up, Chad?
The Electric Grandmothers, and Destroy Detroit.
Okay.
My two band names, if I ever created a band, I would actually have to finish learning how to play guitar.
You finish. Yeah, you get to the point where you're done. John, have you finished learning guitar yet?
No, I'm on level, I don't know.
You only went level 18 last I checked.
We're on the Turk crushing
So
level.
two things happened in 2001, 2000. I was just like, I'm going to either learn how to play guitar or I'm going to learn how to ride a motorcycle. And like 2 years later, I'm on my second motorcycle.
Okay.
Yeah, 2010 Honda Shadow, and I
right.
freaking love it. So I'm like, okay, now I need to learn how to play guitar so I can be a badass motorcycle riding vampire rider guitarist.
Yeah.
And then something will come together in my life with, I don't know, somebody entering my life to be like, look, you're a total badass now.
You can go sit outside the Dracula opera and meet your match. So, yeah, actually, all those, what you were just listing, those band names, made me think of the band name generator websites. And that's not exactly how Rotating Strawberry Madonna, the band that Amber mentioned earlier that I was in before Sapling came about, but it was a similar thing where it was from a book, and it became a joke where it's like, we're going to name our band this ridiculous thing. And I was like, sure, Rotating Strawberry Madonna. It was from a linguistics article. And the point of the phrase was supposed to be that those words didn't mean anything in that order. Like, why would a Madonna rotate and how would it be strawberry? So I was like, I'll show you. And then 4 years later, I was still stuck with that stupid band name.
When you said, how does a Madonna rotate? I'm either thinking of the singer and how does she rotate, or like Madonna from like the Bible.
Well, yeah, I think that's kind of, it was kind of like Rotating Strawberry Madonna. Like, why would it rotate? Why would it be strawberry? And it was supposed to just be like semantically meaningless. And the linguist who wrote this like article was trying to make this point. And it was actually a very good article, but I was like,
It's like
I'll show
colorless
you
green
ideas. They sleep furiously, I hear.
Wow. What did I just talk about meeting somebody or whatever? Somebody I had a date with on Friday just sent me the message of like, I don't think we're this, that, and the other thing, and so on and so forth. And I'm sorry I've been ghosting you for the last 2 days.
I hope they're listening right now.
Why do people do that?
Butthole.
So my two band names would be 11 Car Pileup
Okay.
or Red Lion Go.
Red Lion, like grr.
Like Voltron's Red Lion.
Okay, all right.
No, I'm sorry, Black Lion Go, because Black Lion was the leader of the Voltron Force.
Makes me want to listen to Gold Lion by the Yeah Yeah Yeahs.
Oh.
Gold Lions, yeah.
So here's the entire song, actually, we're going to play of their song as they are on their way out of the studio.
The debut!
Yes, so we're going to play it tonight, Snake Charmer. Thank you guys for coming into the studio. Why don't you give all your plugs away again for everything you do, including whatever you do on the side, which we didn't get too much of.
Whatever I do on the side.
Yeah, what do you do, John?
What's your full-time job?
I'm a programmer. It's whatever. It's not important.
I'm going to call your boss.
I don't know. I garden. I
work for a giant retail corporation that makes billions of dollars or whatever.
Yeah, right. It's not interesting, you know.
I work for the Man, apparently, according to one person. Like, you can't do your art and literature and vampire thing and work for who you work for. I'm like, okay, That, until somebody buys it and turns it into like a CW show, doesn't pay for health care and making sure if I die tomorrow, my son gets all this money from a life insurance policy. And, oh yeah, they paid me when the pandemic happened to stay home. Yeah, so one has to happen in order for the other to continue. But yeah, you do you about me working for the man.
Yeah, you know. I mean, when I'm not working for the man, I garden and I
Garden for the man.
garden for the man.
Sorry for the man.
But I'm that man.
You the man. No, you the man. That's the problem.
I don't know. I like
That's a line from a Kevin Smith movie.
I don't know. I feel like I'm like describing myself on a dating site. I like to hike.
What's your sign?
This is after my tragedy dating life or whatever that I just exposed on there.
Oh, yeah.
He's a Leo.
Oh, Leo. I said stop.
I'm a Capricorn. What are you?
Aquarius.
And what are you?
I'm a Taurus.
See, yeah, so the three of us are all fixed signs. So we've always said if there was ever a fourth person playing in Sapling, they would have to be a Scorpio, except
I'm a Scorpio rising.
that's
and I don't
enough.
accept
Yeah,
that.
that's enough. We
Damn. I was going to ask if I could join. I could at least play the triangle. Ting, 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 ting.
I really like that you went through the whole, like, showing us how to play the triangle with that. That was good.
This is my tambourine. And then I could do the xylophone really well, whatever. I learned how to do the xylophone because I watched that episode of Scooby-Doo with the ghost with the xylophone. Remember that episode?
It's not where I expected that to go.
But, giveaway where you going to be again?
Yeah, so May 7th. May 7th is our release show. It is Sunday. It is doors at 2 p.m., music at 3, and we're playing with Crow Follow and Mini Beast at
And what
Starlight.
time is that?
What?
What time is that?
Doors at 2 p.m.,
Oh, okay.
music at 3 p.m.
All right. I can actually might be able to go to that as long as my son's not doing it and I are not doing anything.
Yeah. It's going to be good
Probably
stuff.
not music. He's weird with music.
I mean, we're weird with music. There's going to be spaghetti.
Yeah, but these young children.
I'll tell them there's spaghetti.
He's not. He told me he's not into spaghetti.
What?
What?
Yes.
Rude.
I'm sorry you had to have that talk with
My
him so
ex-wife
early.
is raising him.
But spaghetti, though.
But he's into lasagna. We went to Red Robin together, and we had hamburgers.
Similar.
Which I know you're not into meat. Sorry.
But how do you just not like spaghetti, though? I don't understand.
How do you like lasagna and not spaghetti? It's like the same thing. I
I
mean,
don't know.
It's
taste-wise. What are you just made out of the same material?
Hey, listen. At least we bond over comic books. He was sitting there reading his Godzilla comic book, which is like this thick or whatever. And I'm sitting there reading what I just.
All right, well,
showed
tell
you.
them there'll be comic books then.
Okay.
there won't be comic books.
And your
There
artwork
could be.
debuts there as well. Do you have prints for your artwork, or do you just sell the actual original stuff?
So I'm actually a full-time artist, which means I am poor as shit.
Poor as butthole.
Oh, poor as buttholes. Sorry, I let that slip.
Do you sell prints and like bookmarks of your art?
I'm actually trying to get some prints right now, but prints are very expensive to make. To make an archival print, you have to get it scanned.
I will tell you a
This-
place how to get it done very cheap.
The scan costs about $150 to $175 for a decent scan for good quality museum prints.
Beyond being musician artist, if I known you were artist coming in here, I would have brought in like the prints that I just got done or whatever. They are beautiful. I will tell you where to go to get these. They are very cheap.
Oh, all right.
They're in New Jersey though.
Oh, I can't even drive. I can't go to New Jersey.
Oh, you can have them delivered. Or they can be delivered to me and I'll give them to you. Because I know, because my
Well-
artist on Vlada has a major freaking hookup.
I have to bring the artwork to get it scanned.
Right. You have digital files of it, don't you?
No, the thing with making an archival print for a large painting is you have to scan it with their fancy equipment. You can't just give them a JPEG because it'll look like crap. Yeah. That's the thing about making a high quality, a museum quality print.
I might
Yeah.
still be able to help you with that, but we'll have to figure out the logistics. But
Yeah.
that's good that you at least want to get that done because that's good, especially if somebody can't afford I don't know how much your artwork costs and it's whatever.
Anywhere from $50 to $10,000, depending on what it is. I'm serious. Yeah, prints for the next batch of prints that I do will be a limited edition run, and they will probably be $150 just for the prints.
Well, one of the things I'd like to do is if I can't I can't hang it up myself because I don't have the room for it. I buy people's art prints or whatever and give away as gifts to people who I know who are into it. Like somebody who bought Vlada for me, which is my book or whatever. I bought like a couple of their oh my god, these dragon prints I brought them with this girl wrote on Comic-Con are just like amazing, like stuff. I am just shocked like how well they're done. And I bought a couple of them and gave away for Christmas gifts for people just to support the artist. Again, even if I don't have the room to hang it up myself, which I would love to do. If I ever bought a house, I'm just going to hang it up with like artwork from like people, and just like turn a wing of the house. There was a place in what is the street with the hospital on in Worcester, leads right down to the middle of the giant intersection where the police station is.
Summer.
No.
St. V's.
Yes,
Yeah,
but no, it's more like up a hill. You got to go up this freaking hill like this. It goes
Oh,
to Shrewsbury.
that's UMass.
Yes.
Up by Belmont.
Yes, up
yeah.
at Belmont Street. There was this firehouse that a bunch of people lived in that turned it into like a gallery.
We've played there.
Yes.
Firehouse.
The Firehouse.
Yes, whatever. They had like a bunch of like people's like art and prints up there. I went there one time in like 2012. A friend of mine took me there, if you know Aslan King. So.
Yeah, we've played there before. I mean, the Firehouse is kind of like OG, like house shows. We actually, one more little plug while we're in here. We were supposed to be playing the Firehouse in June. Unfortunately, we had to drop off the show very early into the game because we are playing a show July 22nd at the Sinclair in Cambridge.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so we can't have certain shows within a certain distance before that.
There's a woman I know named Sinclair who is looking. I know she's looking for bands to play. Again, thank you for coming into the studio. Nice to see you again after recollecting my memory from 2019, just before hell froze over. So.